Good morning. Good morning. Good. Good. Okay. Good morning. Yes. Good. Okay. Hello, my name is Whitley Stout, and today I'm going to talk about the day that changed my life. The day that changed my life was not an overwhelming experience for many. In fact, it may not even have affected other people at all. But to me, that day was different. That day will forever be in my memories. The day that changed my life was the day I participated in Shattered Dreams. Shattered Dreams is a local program that creates simulated drunk driving accidents to try and teach teenagers the importance of making smart decisions. During the month of April, the morning of the accident, I had no idea I was participating in the crime that would take place outside of our gym. I was nervous because I knew my best friends had signed up for the program along with me, but I did not want anything happening to them. Even before that day, I did not understand how much that day would change me. As I made my way to the art room, I realized that I was picked for the accident. My emotions at that moment were not extensive. Actually, I was kind of excited to see my friends because I did not know where they went that morning. While we were getting our makeup done for the accident, it was all fun and games because nothing was put into perspective yet. None of us knew how serious the upcoming hour would be because we were not sure what was going to happen. As we made our way to the cars, I started to slowly understand more and more of what was going on. I looked around at my friends sitting in the cars. Oh, no, wrong way. Yeah. I looked around at my friends sitting in the cars, pretending to be dead or unconscious, and I was still apprehensive about the upcoming accident. One of the accident coordinators told me to lie on the hood of the car, which, in case you're wondering, was not comfortable at all. I was simulating a passenger that was thrown through the front window because my driver was texting and I was not wearing a seatbelt. As time passed, I heard all the students walk out into the stands to watch the accident, but I could not open my eyes because I had to represent a dead body. As I laid there in that uncomfortable spot, I heard the police sirens, and suddenly the accident began. But that was not the moment that changed my life. As the accident went on, I overheard several things, such as the police sirens and Colton, the drunk driver, talking into the microphone about his drunken state. The police officers and paramedics were moving around me and trying to check for all of our pulses to see if we were living or dead. As they went around the accident, they concluded that 2 of us were dead on arrival, my best friend and myself. Laying there with my eyes shut, knowing I was supposedly dead, I realized 2 things that changed my perspective on life. 1, I thought about my best friend dead in the other car. I began to panic, even though I knew this was just a simulation. I freaked out because I thought, what if I never see her again? The second thing that I thought about was the last words that I had said to the people that I cared about. I think the saddest part about that moment was that I could not remember. I could not remember if I told my mom I loved her the night before. I could not remember if I had solved that fight with my best friend over some drama that was going on at school. I could not remember any of it. And then I thought, what if I was gone right now? What if this was it? Did I fix that issue with my best friend? Does my mom know that I love her? At that moment, I was lifted off of the hood onto the gurney, and a yellow sheet was put over me to represent my body being deceased. I began to cry because I realized that my life was hypothetically over. I cried for all the issues that I had not solved and for all the things that I would not get to do. Then I was put in the hearse. I was strapped down to the gurney, but I still had the yellow sheet over my head. The paramedic told me that my best friend was beside me, so I called her name. And at that point, she was calling my name also. I was never so excited to hear her crying before, because then I realized she was okay. We both cried together, side by side, as we were driven off to the funeral home. At the funeral home, our parents had to identify our bodies because we were dead on arrival, and they were told to meet us there. My father did not want to go back into the room and identify me because even hypothetically, he knew what that meant. The funeral director lifted the sheet off my head, and my dad said, "Yep, that's her," which for him is a lot of emotion. The next day during the funerals was actually worse because we had to see ourselves and our friends in the accident. This was the first time we saw everything that was going on around us, and it was scary. It was scary seeing Maddie in the seat next to me and seeing Beth behind me crying for help. I never knew that was going on around me. After the whole presentation, I finally got to see my parents. I walked over and hugged my mother, and she was crying and telling me I could never do something like that again. But as I walked over to my dad, I saw that he was actually tearing up. Now, this may not seem like a big deal to anyone else, but for me, This was the moment that changed my life. This was the first time I had seen him do this. Right then, I knew how much I meant to him. I knew how important I was to my father and how important he was to me. The whole experience taught me to value the people that are around me. From then on, I want to live my life, fulfilling every moment and remaining grateful for the people around me. I want to try and be positive with every goodbye because you never know when one moment could be your last. I want to make a difference in the lives of the people around me because I don't ever want to regret something I did. I want to take those once-in-a-lifetime chances because I never want to have to ask myself, what if? I can still remember that day like it was yesterday. If I can tell anyone one thing I learned from that experience, I would say, imagine if right now your life ended and everything was over. Did you say and do everything that you wanted? No one in life is guaranteed a certain amount of time. I am trying to make the most of what I'm given. Are you? Thank you.